Grand Rising, everyone. I was recently asked a question. Is there such a character of Moses? Is Moses a historical character, I should say? That question is a yes and a no. Moses as a historical person probably did exist, is documented in the Egyptian hieroglyphics as a person who existed, but not in the way that the Hebrew Bible tells you. So where did the story of Moses come from? Who was Moses? Moses is a compilation of at least two different people based on an issue that happened in Egypt. Let's tell the story. So, it's story time. You have Amenhotep III. This is where our story must begin. Not with Ramses. Ramses is nowhere near the story of Moses. It cannot happen. It's an impossibility. You see, because during the time frame that Moses would have been doing everything that he did, he would have only had 8 years of Ramses' reign in order to do it. That's not enough time to conquer 300 people, 300 people groups, as well as all the plagues that were supposed to have happened during the reign of Ramses. But Amenhotep III, he wanted to see the face of one of his gods. So he was told that in order for you to see this, you have to exile all lepers out of Egypt. Because this was his desire, Amenhotep III, he exiled all lepers in Egypt, these were Egyptians, up into the northern Egypt area, and this was a desert. So they were left there to languish, to die, to thirst. They stayed in the desert. Now, Amenhotep III dies. His son, Amenhotep IV, who was hidden away from his father because his father did not want a male heir. Amenhotep IV, he changed his name to Akhenaten, his wife Nefertiti. He destroyed all temples that worshiped the Egyptian pantheons. Well, he tried to destroy all the temples of the worship of the Egyptian pantheon. He brought in the worship of Akhenaten, of the Akhten, the solar rays represented by the solar disk, the sun. He believed that the consciousness of the Creator was exemplified in those solar rays, hence solar rays in every depiction of God. In his belief that there is only one God from the Akhten, he moved the capital of Egypt to what is now Amara. It was called Akhten, but now it's changed to Amara. For 12 years, he taught the Egyptian people that there is only one God, the first monotheism that you have in the ancient world. I know you were taught in school that the Hebrews were the first monotheistic religion, but we know that the Hebrews learned monotheism also from the Zoroastrians, who believed that Ahura Mazda was the only God, the first God. They were the first ones in that area to teach monotheism, which they probably learned from the Akhenaten. Well, after 12 years, the Pharaoh was disposed. He was the first Pharaoh. He was disposed. And the religion of Egypt went back to polytheism, went back to the idea of Ra and everyone else. Well, up north, the lepers decided to invite the Hyksos into their camps, into their land. When the Hyksos came in, out of that, an Egyptian priest, one of the lepers, an Egyptian priest rose to prominence. His name was Moses. Moses is an Egyptian name of an Egyptian priest, not the son, the adopted son of the Pharaoh, not the brother of Ramesses. They waged war against the Egyptians. They won for a while, but then they lost. When they lost, they crossed the river of reeds. They crossed a sand dune across the river of reeds. This is where the exaggeration of splitting the Red Sea, because reeds and Red Sea were closely related. Now, they wandered through the desert and made their way to the Levant. Not over 40 years, over the 4 or 5 days, 9 days it takes to get there. This story was known and taught to the Levant, the people of the Levant. These were Semitic people. Now, once the Hebrew people went into captivity in Babylon, they learned about another person, Sargon the Great. Sargon the Great, known as the first emperor in the current manifestation of man's history. His mother put him in a basket, floated him down the river Euphrates. He was found by the cupbearer of the king. The king, and he was raised by the cupbearer. He became closely related to the king, a trusted friend. As Sargon grew, he became a military general, a military leader. And when he became king himself, Sargon conquered hundreds of city-states to form the first of the Sumerian, I believe it was called the Akkadian Empire, but he was Sumerian in lineage, but conquered and became the first emperor, hence going around the desert and conquering 300 different cities, hence being floated down a river and found by someone. It was changed to the princess and becoming the son of the Pharaoh. We see how when these Babylonians left in 534 BCE at the behest of Cyrus, that they took the story of Moses of the Hyksos, the Egyptian priest who ruled over the Hyksos, who fled from Egypt. And they had to have a miraculous birth, a miraculous lineage. So they took upon themselves the story of Sargon the Great being floated down the Euphrates River, changed it to the Nile. That's where you get the Moses from. Now, the Moses that is with the Hyksos is a documented historical character based on Egyptian pottery. The Hyksos existed, the priest existed. Sargon is historically accepted based on the king's list, based on pottery, based on scrolls, based on inscriptions, and based on the civilizations being found. So there is more than likely a historical figure who Moses was, but not the biblical exaggeration. And why is this important? This is important because for those of us, and only for those of us, who have decided to walk away from traditional religions, in order for us to truly be able to free our consciousness of the indoctrination, the conditioning that we've been given, forced upon us since birth, we have to know the truth of these stories so that we can unravel all the forced information, forced beliefs upon us. Because only by doing that can you open up your mind to realize that you are truly an energetic, conscious being that is one with the all. You are not the all, but you are one with the all. You have elements and characteristics of the all, but you are not the all. But because you have those characteristics, we live on this third dimensional plane. But it is our goal, it is our duty to self to elevate to the fourth through love, to the fifth through the sixth, and continue our conscious journey beyond this matter plane of existence. So that is why it's important for us to unravel these stories, to find out the truth of these stories, so that we can finally get to the truth of our existence and what is our purpose here, and how do we elevate and leave this matter plane of existence. So I thank you. Follow me out on YouTube at Lorenzo, L-A-R-E-N-Z-O R-E-I-D. Subscribe there, and we'll have more talks and more learning and more lessons.